Ashay, Mat Imhotep. This is The Truth May Hurt. My name is Raymond Witcher, and I will be your host. After the last presentation, I decided to follow up with a presentation on the African Holocaust. Okay. We always hear, well, it's never ending, about the Jewish Holocaust, how horrible it was. And it was, okay? It was absolutely horrible. But we never hear about any of the African Holocaust. We don't hear about Congo Holocaust. I'm going to show you these things, all right? And I'm going to show you the link, the direct link that all of these African Holocausts have to Christianity. Okay, I watched a documentary last night on the Congo Tribunal in the Congo, okay? And I'm going to show you some things in here that show you that the African Holocaust never stopped. Okay. So we're going to take a look at it. Let's get on into it. I'm going to go right into it because I want to spend a little bit more time directly on this than I have on other presentations because it's a lot of information. All right. But notice that the Holocaust definition does not even include any of the Holocaust that happened and still are happening to Africa or in Africa. Okay, so here's the definition of Holocaust. Mass murder of Jewish people under the German Nazi regime during the period of 1941 through 1945. More than 6 million European Jews, as well as members of other persecuted groups such as the Romani, gay people, and disabled people, were murdered at concentration camps such as Auschwitz. Okay? Now, I don't really need to show you any of the websites on the Jewish Holocaust. Okay? I'm not sure how much it is taught in Africa, I'm not sure if the African Holocaust or the Congo Holocaust is taught in Africa. I know that the Europeans' control system of the education and religious system kind of leads me to believe that you haven't been taught about this either. I'm not sure that the Africans' education system is controlled by the French, the British, the German, the Dutch, the Belgium, like ours is controlled by the white society in America, but that's part of their control system. So I would assume that it is been severely oppressed, what you are taught. Okay? All right. Now, I'm doing everything in a timeline, and I'm trying to keep everything with regard to a timeline, okay? So as we go down through here, keep the timeline present in your mind, all right? All right, millions died in the Congo Holocaust only 100 years ago, and we can't count how many since it started because it never stopped in 1908, as it says. You'll be seeing that right down here below. All right. In the years between 1885 and 1908, some 10 million people died in the Congo Free State, victims of one of the modern world's most terrible Holocaust. All right. Yet, this enormous crime has scarcely penetrated the public consciousness. No memorials, no museums, no cries of never again, like everyone cries with and for the Jews. All right. Um, Now, let's keep this in reference to the timeline. All right. So, in the previous presentations, we know that the Berlin Conference was held in 1833. Now, we're looking at the timeline, and from 1885 to 1908 is when they were carrying out these atrocities in the Congo Free State. So right after the Berlin Conference, they came up with this: let's bang them. Okay, we're gonna bang them into submission now. Okay. All right. While the basic facts of the tragedy are well known to most historians and scholars, textbooks and encyclopedias offer only a few bland sentences about it. This neglect dishonors the memories of the millions of innocent people who died as a result of a king's greed. Okay? All right. King Leopold's ghost provides an excellent account of what happened. The so-called Congo Free State was anything but. It was, in fact, a giant forced labor camp. Personal possessions of Leopold II, King of Belgium. For nearly 30 years, his armed thugs forced the Congolese to extract ivory, hardwood, and wild rubber from their homelands. Many were beaten to death for failing to meet strict quotas, while millions more died from physical exhaustion, famine, and infectious diseases. Okay, I'm going to finish this here and then I'm going to show you something, all right? In all, roughly half of the region's people lost their lives. International outrage finally forced King Leopold to give up his hold on the land. What followed, however, was what Hochschild called the Great Forgetting. Forgetting was easy because the Congolese were poor, mostly illiterate, people lacking the technologies needed to disseminate the facts of their suffering. Leopold ran an effective public relations campaign, helping to bury the extent of the crime for many years. It took the work of several dedicated activists, researchers to uncover the truth of the Holocaust. Yet, the forgetting continues. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We're going to take a look at a couple of things. All right, regarding the Holocaust, they have documented this thing down step by step, how horrible it was to the Jewish people. How horrible Hitler was, okay? Hitler doesn't come close to the people that have done this to the Africans. He doesn't come close. When you want to talk about atrocities, let's talk about all of them. Talk about the ones that were done to my people, to my African brothers and sisters, okay? Because I'm sick of hearing about what happened to the Jews. Well, they're the fake Jews, first of all. They're not the real Jews. The real Jews, the biblical Jews are the African Jews. The original Hebrews were the black African Hebrews, all right? So they're just telling you how this genocide continued up to 1995. So it's documented, all right? Now, let's look at the forgotten Holocaust, all right? Now, this link, I didn't attach it, but you can see what my search is so that you can go to the same place. Congo Holocaust. If you do a search for the Congo Holocaust, it'll pull this right up. All right, now let's look at some of these things here about the forgotten Holocaust that happened to the African people of the Congo. The African people of the Congo, millions died in Congo 100 years ago. All right, a lot of these sites are protected. a lot of, well, no, I have this on another slide. Okay, so let's go back. Well, yeah, let's go back to the slide. It was back, yeah. But here is the link. So when I go to the next slide, I have copied some of the things out of here. But I'm showing you how to search for it and how to get to it. So we'll go back here and we'll go here. All right. Here's about today's university students might learn about the Congo Holocaust. I reviewed 9 of the most frequent used history books dealing with, this is from that article, okay? This is from the article I just showed you. All right, textbooks dealing with modern times. None provide more than a paragraph on the Congo Holocaust. Most offer only a few different sentences. One book describes the Holocaust by saying the Congo's people were treated with inhumane severity and compulsion. The account does not use the word murder, kill, or atrocities. Nothing is said about the number of human beings that were killed. Okay? But I just showed you there were over 10 million killed in between 1885 and 1908. So what's that? 25 years, 28 years? 10 million people dead. That's just in the Congo. Okay? That's just in the Congo. You got to remember, during this time, Africa was being invaded from all sides. This is the only one that escaped their erasure. All right? All right. Then we're looking at, right. Where's the moral outrage at this Holocaust? Why aren't our students learning the full extent of the outrage? The Congo Holocaust is not ancient history. Much of it occurred in the 20th century, a decade before the next catastrophe, World War I. And its amendment, the Aryan Holocaust, and just a few decades before the Holocaust of World War II. Wow. They just erased us right out. Okay, but when I get into the presentation, you're going to see why. All right, now remember, like I said, this was right after the Berlin Conference, which is a bit ironic when you consider that in the 1800s, just a few miles away from Kaliamatiki apartments, German Kaiser Wilhelm II ordered the invasion of Southwest Africa to make his journey just a short distance. Okay, for a short homecoming. All right, so you're looking at the timeline. So in the 1880s, this is when they attacked South Africa. Okay. Now I need to go back here. To come here and show you this. All right. Excuse me. I need to show you this first. Let me pause. Okay. I want to show you why it never stopped. Why I say it never stopped. Okay. In the Congo right now, this is miners making a dramatic escape from a collapsed cave. They're forcing children, some of them little 7 and 8 year old children, down mining holes to dig cobalt by hand. Okay, these mining contracts, I think it's the Belgium, have. This is directly related to the documentary that I watched last night, the Congo Tribunal of November 11th, November the 11th, November the 16th, 2017. This is what that tribunal was about. The conditions that these people are being forced to work in, the Congolese. They don't make enough money to feed themselves. I've seen videos with the Belgians sitting in a truck and the Congolese come up at lunchtime and they don't have anything to eat and they're sitting in their trunk eating soup. And the brother walks up with his hat and says, you know, I'm hungry, you know, can you feed me? And they pour soup in his hat and he has to eat it out of his hat. But this is what they're forcing him to do. Count how many people come out of this hole. Count how many people you see come out of this hole. Tell me where is the safety measures and the Belgium trying to save their lives. They don't care about us. You're going to see that down in this presentation. How many people do you see coming out of this hole? Okay. So don't let somebody tell you that it stopped, because it didn't. And until we wake up, it's not. Okay? So let's see. Oh, man, I think I did that right. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. It never stopped. Okay? Now we're going to look at King Leopold. So I want you to see what he's all about. All right. This is King Leopold's letter about the true purpose of the Christian missionaries in Africa. All right. This is what he instructed. Now he's the king. Okay. And he's instructing his missionaries how to go into Africa. I'm gonna summarize it to you. And let me show you. All right. So if you do a search on, was Leopold II who ruled the Congo a Christian? That's what I did a search on. Okay. Was Leopold II who ruled the Congo a Christian? So if you go into your search engine and you type in this, open up King Leopold's letter and the true purpose of Christian missionaries, right? And what he's saying here, now I'll let you see part of it. I'll read part of it. All right. At the end of the 19th century, the Europeans scrambled for control of Africa. What are you going to control it through? You remember in the last presentation when I showed you how Christianity spread around the world through colonialism? It was done with that Bible. Okay, it was done, you remember I said it was done through missionaries. It was done through ropes, whips, chains, burning people alive at the stake. All right? But of all awful crimes he committed, Belgian King Leopold left arguably the largest and most horrid legacy of all. All right. Now we go down here. He claimed he was doing it to protect. Okay, when he went in, what it's saying is when he went into Central Africa and the rainforest, he went in claiming he was doing it to protect the natives from Arab slavers. All right. And to open up their hearts of the Africans to the Christian missionaries and Western capitalists. Okay? Let's go down here and see what he did. Let's see what he told them to do. Right. Instead, Leopold unleashed a new horror on the African continent. He turned his Congo Free State into a massive labor camp, made a fortune for himself from the harvest of wild rubber, and contributed in a large way to the death of perhaps 10 million innocent people. All right, now here's his letter. You see here it says, this is the words, a letter from King Leopold II of Belgium to the colonial missionaries in 1883. This is part of the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference is 1883. He was in on it. All right. What does he say? Reverends, fathers, and dear compatriots, the task that is given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. You will go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire above all Belgium interests. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never teach the nigger to know God. Now listen to this. They know already. So he's telling everybody, look, these people already know God. You got it? They know that we had our relationship with God. He says it right here. They know already. Never teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. So what is he going to do? Now look here. He says they speak and submit to a Manju. Now, all right, let's look at all of them. Then I won't have to come back. Manju, Zabeni, and Najekomba. So what are these names? All right. And what else? I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to die, and to insult is bad. So he's saying we have high morals. We don't sleep with anybody else's wife. We know that we don't go around killing everybody. We have good nature. You see what he's saying? I want you to understand that they knew we were kind-hearted people. We welcomed them with open arms. We fed them. Same thing that we did here in America when they showed up in the Nintapenta in Santa Maria. So they knew our nature. They knew we knew God. So what did he say? Have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrial, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in a way it will be best to protect your interests in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our slaves for the richness that is plenty in their underground. They're gonna hide it. Okay? Let's read on. To avoid that, they get interested in it and make your murderous competition and dream one day to overthrow you. See, they've always had this fear that we're gonna kill them, that we're gonna come and kill them in the night. That's the fear that the slave owners had here in America, and that's the same fear that they're saying right here. All right. They will follow us in knowledge. Okay, gospel, kingdom of God, overthrow you. Okay. Your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find text offering and encouraging your followers to love poverty, like happier are the poor, because they will inherit the heavens, and it's very difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. You remember when I showed you Reverend C.C. Jones, Instructions for Negroes in America to be Implemented through the Church. He had 5 key points. 1, teach Negroes that God made them to be slaves. Number 2, teach Negroes that God made white people to be their master. Number 3, the church can't do anything to intervene with what God has ordained. Number 4, God allowed slavery so that white people could introduce them to Christianity and Jesus. And number 5, teach Negroes that God made them to live in poverty and get their reward in heaven. And here it is in another document. Independent, saying the same thing. All right, get the reward in heaven. All right, you have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. I make reference to their mystic system and their war fetish, warfare protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon. And you must do everything in your power to make it disappear. So they want to subdue us down to where we don't even want to fight. Remember what I told you? The Willie Lynch letter says you have to break the natural nature of the nigger, the same way you have to break the natural nature of a wild horse, because in the horse in his wild state, he won't work for you. He's going to reject you. And it's the same thing with the nigger. You have to break his will. That's what they're doing right here. All right. Your actions will, but I might have to get my charger. Your actions will be directly essential to the young ones. Essentially to the young ones. For they won't revolt when the recommendation of a priest is contradictory to their parents' teachings. Listen to this. The children have to learn to obey. The missionary recommends who is the father of their soul. You must singly insist on their total submission and obedience. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach students to read and not reason. They don't want you thinking. Just read it. Just believe it. I'm telling you, you can read it for yourself. Right. Dear patriots, are some of the principles that you must apply. You will find many other books. Okay, yeah, you will find other books which will be given to you at the end of the conference. You got to excuse me, my eyes, I'm having problems seeing this. End of this conference. Evangelize the niggers so that they stay forever in submission to the white colonist, so they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. Wow. Recite to them every day. Happy are those who are weeping, because the kingdom of God is for them. Wow. The kingdom of God for me. So I'm just crying and I'll get my reward in heaven. Whew. All right. You can see it. Let me move this. All right. You can see it. Oh, wow. That's not what I wanted to do. All right. So, okay. You remember when he says they speak and submit to these here, Menji. I can't pronounce them, but I'm going to show you who they are. All right. So the Manju is witchcraft concept among the Anzidi, Central Africa. So this was a deity. So they're saying that these Congolese, this is who they worship. This is who they bow down to. This is the other one. This is who they worship. Nanzembi. Also a eternal God of essence, as well as moon, earth, sky, mother. Okay, so this is another God. So he's telling them they already know God. But we got to make them take our God and get rid of their God. Same thing they did here. And Njambi, all right, it's another God. So when he's telling you, they already know God, that's what he's telling you. All right? We got to get them out of that mental consciousness and spirituality and convert them into our way so that we can have our way with them. All of the minerals and resources and wealth they have under the ground that they don't know about, we're going to take it. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yeah, I need to pull this up because, hold on. Okay, I'm going to start here to be a little bit easier. Okay, colonial Belgium, Congo, a slave's father gazing at his daughter, severed hand and foot in 1904. You see, on the right in front of him, they have cut off his daughter's hand and one of her feet because she didn't get the required amount of rubber that she needed to get for the day. Because King Leopold's order was anybody that doesn't make their order, cut off their hands, their feet, or kill them. Okay? So, I don't want to hear about the Jewish Holocaust anymore. Right? Let me show you so that you can find this one too. If you do a search for why were Africans' hands and feet cut off by colonization, then open this one that says Colonial Belgium, Congo, a slave's father gazed at his daughter's hands and feet cut off. When you do that, read this. Okay, I'm just going to show you part of it. Because after he had cut off his daughter's hands and feet, that wasn't enough for this savage heathen. All right? And because it didn't seem quite enough, because it didn't seem quite cruel enough, quite strong enough to make their case, they cannibalized the daughter and her mother, and they presented the father, Nashala, with the token of leftovers from the once loving body of his darling child, whom he so loved. His wife was destroyed. His life was destroyed. So he killed him. All right? And it goes on to say that that this was the end of it destroyed the man. It destroyed him completely when he couldn't protect his own child from having a hand and a foot cut off and then eaten. Okay, so where was the choice? All right, where was the choice? All right, and you're reading it for yourself. You can go up and pull it up for yourself. You can always pause this document and pull these documents and read them for yourself. I'm trying to keep these videos down in time so that I don't turn people off. All right. All right. Okay, Leopold had not given any thought to the idea that these children, these African children, these men, these women, were only fully human brothers created equally by the same hand that had created his own lineage of the European royalty. Okay, he didn't see us like that. This is talking about the Congo Free State, and it happened in the early 20th century. Okay, so you getting the picture? Okay, they hide their atrocities. They blow us our whatever we may do, they blow it up and make us all kind of monsters. Okay, but remember who owns the newspapers? At least here in America, who owns the newspapers? The media, the music labels, they're all the Jewish people. Okay? In 23 years, from 1985 to 1908, Leopold II ruled the Congo. He had massacred 10 million Africans by cutting off their hands, their genitals, flogging them to death, starving them into forced labor, holding children ransom, and burning villages. Okay. So, don't let anybody tell you about the Holocaust. Tell them they don't know what they're talking about until they can tell you something about this one. We just looked at that. Okay. Yeah. Everything that I've shown you up until right now has been presented as history or something that happened in the past. Okay, well, I watched this last night. The Congo Tribunal was held November the 16th, 2017, to address Africans being killed on the job, not being paid, and other abuses. All right. These sites contract says all digging must be done by equipment, no hand digging. Remember the clip I showed you of how they force children down holes in the Congo. All right, let's take another peek at the conditions at a mining site for cobalt in the Congo. All right, tell me, how much equipment do you see? See a few trucks. You see any emergency equipment?
Are you tired of flipping houses, inconsistent results, always chasing your next deal, and constant competition?
Do you see anything? You see any facilities? You see any personal protection equipment? Do you see any masks? Do you see any gloves? Do you see anything protecting these guys from what's going on? Do you see anything that is showing that these
stones have become crucial to our way of life?
There's nothing offered to protect these brothers. So that's what the tribunal was about. It was about how they're forcing these people to work in horrible conditions, and keep in mind that these chemicals are causing all kind of health problems for these guys. They're catching cancer. I mean, one's neck was swollen up like this from these work sites. All right, the water that they use to wash the cobalt is not disposed of as required. It contaminates the groundwater, so you can't drink it. All right. The biggest thing that the Congolese natives asked for were homes and goats, and they never got anything. When I'm talking about a home, I'm not talking about a brick home. I'm talking about a structure that's made out of sticks that has mud packed in it. No, they didn't get it. All right, they had to have a tribunal to address it. The Belgium, they don't pay any taxes, and they're destroying the land. Right? Many local government officials are paid proxies. They were shown and exposed in the tribunal. A couple of them lost their jobs. I hope they didn't make enough money to even make it out of Bini. Okay? Small children are forced down the holes. We saw that. All right. During these times, over 20 massacres happened. Okay, during this time, during the tribunal, the Congo Tribunal, they found that during these times, 20 massacres happened in 6 months in Beni. And then every 2 weeks, there was a new massacre. Why aren't we seeing, or why haven't we heard about this on the news? Why? Because then these people doing that, their grandchildren, their children, their great-grandchildren would know what they did. So they suppress us into submission, then they suppress everything they did to suppress us. In the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. You don't have to accept it, but it doesn't mean that it's not true because you don't accept it. Everything that I'm showing you is objective evidence. You want to dispute it? Go ahead. So colonialism ended. What became behind it? Neo-colonialism. The use of economic, political, cultural, and other pressures to control or influence other countries, especially former dependencies. So when colonialism go out, like Haiti still owes France billions of dollars. Neo-colonialism. Okay? All right. Neo-colonialism. All right? Why do the richest continent, why does, it's a typo, all right? Yes. Why does the richest continent on earth need any kind of aid or assistance? The United Nations and all of these Red Cross and all of these companies that make it seem like, oh, we coming to rescue you. No, you're not. You're coming to put on a front, to take the attention off of you. I gotta look this up. How many American military bases in Africa? How many Chinese bases are in Africa? How many Russian bases are in Africa? What are they doing there? If they're there not to help protect us and to stop this stuff, then what is their interest? Right? Can anybody be convicted by a jury by what they believe? Huh? Where else can you believe something and that's all you need to do? Can you tell your boss, I believe, boss, listen, I really believe me and my manager's role that I made your company money last year. I believe I did. I'm not sure, but I believe. You think you still have a job? And we are betting everything about our afterlife on a belief system that is a fear-based belief system. And they have us so afraid of what's going to happen to us when we die. And you just read it in the previous slides that they're teaching us you're going to get your reward in heaven and your suffering is good for you. Okay? That we are so afraid of what's going to happen when we die and we're going to burn on a fire that we ignore the hell that they're putting us in every day. You got to wake up. All right? All right. We kind of finished this up. So just wanted to finish this one up because it kind of went right with the one we just did on how how Jesus Christ and colonization spread around the world. Okay? after I saw the presentation last night on the Congo Tribunal, and you can Google that. They have a trailer of it on YouTube if you want to see it. All right, it's all spoken in French, so you got to read the caption. But don't let anybody come to you and tell you about how horrible the Holocaust was, and they can't tell you and show you anything about what's done to our people and still being done, because this is 2017. Now, do you believe that's the only place that was going on is in Beni and in the Congo? Do you know the Jewish family, I can't remember the name, that owns the diamonds? It's not the Goldberg. It's one of the family that owns the diamonds. They did an interview with him on his diamond plantation. And when he first took this land, he said that there were so many diamonds on the ground, on top of the ground, that they would tie 10 cans around the children's neck, and they would walk around on the ground all day just picking up diamonds, and you could hear them when they hit the bottom of the can. Clink, 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 clink. That's how rich South Africa was in diamonds. And this man would brag and say, we gave them nothing. We abused them. We held them hostage. We wouldn't feed them. We would kill them. Like it was nothing. This is a Jew. It's God's chosen people, man. His first chosen. Don't believe that lie. Don't believe any of those Abrahamic lies. Abraham never existed. His son, he never had a son named Ishmael. He never had a son named Isaac. There is no bloodline of Abraham. Like it or not. It's all right. All right. Left off something I wanted to show you about how the King Leopold, he had quotas for everyone that they had to meet every day. If you were picking, if you were harvesting rubber, wild rubber, all of the things that they were harvesting, even wood, you would have to cut down so many trees and get them in, or you'd have to bring in so much weight and rubber. And if you didn't, they cut off your fingers, they cut off your hands, they cut off your feet. So we saw the one gentleman, you see here, he's missing a hand. Okay? And you see here, they're getting ready to cut off a hand. You see they have the man on the ground? They make the black man cut off the black man's hand. You remember we saw the man sitting on his porch. We read the article with his daughter's hand and foot sitting on his front porch. After they cut off her hand and her foot, they roasted her and ate her. And then the only thing they gave him to eat was the leftovers from his daughter. You see, they cut off this young man's hand and he's missing a leg. Look at his left leg and he's missing his right arm. Okay? These are the people that taught us about Jesus Christ and brought us a Bible and taught us how to pray. Okay, I want to keep everything in a perspective here. Okay? Don't make it more worse for me showing you this than those people who did this to our ancestors. You know, and I'll show this to people, they'll get upset with me. Why are you showing me that? I don't want to see that. I don't have nothing to do with those Africans. Okay? That's how detached we have been trained to be away from each other, that we don't even have any compassion, empathy, and or to the point that we can't even say, damn. No emotion. Okay? And here's why it's important. If we're not, well, careful doesn't have anything to do with it. If we're not proactive, they're going to do it again. Okay? So don't just sit around and act like, oh, this is nothing. Because if you do that, when they come and kick your door in and pull your sons and daughters out and do what they want to do to them, it's too late. That's why I'm fighting now. Okay? Look at these people, arms cut off. Children. These are kids. have to live the rest of your life like that because you didn't get enough rubber, you didn't get enough ivory, you didn't get enough wood for Leopold. And Leopold wasn't even in Africa. He's having people done like this and killed. Okay, so I just wanted you to see some of this. All right. It's Congo war crimes. Look at this. These are the war crimes. Okay. So I just wanted to come back because I had this slide up. And I just wanted to show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Ashe and have a great day. All right. Oh, thanks for the new subscribers. We gained a couple more today. Please share, and I'm interested in getting with some pastors that we can either meet at one place and have a discussion about these things, or we can do it on a Zoom. I'm not trying to be confrontational with pastors, okay? Honestly, most pastors don't know what I'm showing because that indoctrination of from when they were a child, just like we went over from the time a child sees the first images, his mom, dad, brothers, sisters, grandma, grandpa, first names, mom, dad, brothers, sisters, and Jesus. So the pastor was indoctrinated just like we were. No need in being mad with them. Now, unless his name is T.D. Jakes, Benny Hanna, whatever his name is, Joel Osteen, they're criminals because they know. Okay? So I'm going to say Ashe and have a great day.